Okay, well, people have asked me to put a video together for how I built my study, so this is it. Took me 7 years, and it didn't cost me a penny because of three very generous benefactors, and you know who you are, who sent me money and Home Depot gift cards over the whole thing. So I never cost me a penny. I just had to do the labor, but the rest was provided by the Lord, and super thankful for that. Anyways, this is the study and kind of the end product. But started out where for 3.5 years I just had bare concrete walls, was putting in gas pipes and dryer vents and stuff. But I put 2-inch foam in the wall, and then horizontal 1x3s, and put 4-inch split head anchors through the 1x3s into the concrete. I marked out the floor where I wanted to frame up the walls, and I don't have a lot of pictures of that. But anyways, then I put the 1x3s vertically every 16 on center, and that worked out really great. It gives you a 3.5-inch thick wall for like panels and stuff. So it's the normal thickness. It takes up the least amount of space. It doesn't have any mold. It's waterproof. So I think this is the best way to do a basement. Anyways, then I had to, kind of draw out. I have a little cheap software, so I draw out all the electrical stuff and put all the wires in, because I knew the coffered ceiling. I had to figure out, where all the wires would go, so I have a light where they're supposed to be. I sheetrocked it and didn't drill holes until 4.5 years later, I think. But this drywall, if you've ever done drywall, it's not very glorious, and some people are really good at it. I'm okay, but I get impatient towards the end, and I just want to get it over. This is the recording studio looking out. This is the arch door, which if you ever decide to build one, just brace yourself. They're hard to build, like really hard. And just putting the mud on, more mud, tape, mud. Anyways, so I just kept working on things and tried to get everything you can see that everything kind of framed in there, and used OSB for the arch part, a couple layers of that, and let's kind of glued in pieces. But this is, the drywall getting done. You can see the rock wall up there at the top above the header, and so then I got the soffit all done, everything's primed. So now I'm ready to start doing some woodworking. I did the recording studio first. This is how I made the panels. Used Harbor Freight moving blankets and bed sheets put in with window spline. I just ran my table saw along the end, got 1/8-inch window spline, shoved it in there. These are baffles for the air vents, just so that they would be quiet. There's the kind of the blank recording studio. This is a room within a room. So there's a 9x9 room, and then I built another room. So it's 4 layers of drywall, 4 layers of acoustical barrier, 2 layers of rock wool, and then the sound panel. So it's pretty quiet in the recording studio. I did a little carpeting, little corner thing. You can see that's me in there. A green screen. I have a black screen, a green screen. I have those gimbals so I can hang lights in different places, and I had to kind of figure that out, but it's kind of where I do my training videos. This is the coffered ceiling, kind of the understructure of it. I just found this wood in dumpsters from houses being built. I just scavenge out free wood whenever I could get it, and one guy drove over the corners of 4 pieces of 3/4 OSB and threw them away, and so I got them and cut them into strips and used them in the ceiling. So for nailers for my coffered boxes. And anyways, there's a batch of cherry. I forget where I got this one, but I just kept getting batches, and I have a helical head on my DeWalt planer. It works great. And these are some of the caps of the coffers. Just boards that I needed to glue together. You can see the bookshelves, holes in them towards the top so I can pass the wires for the face frames. All the face frames are dadoed, so they can have strip lights in them. Here's some more cherry. There's a piece of black walnut on top because my sons wanted black walnut chopping boards, so they got them. And then these are just pieces for the little recessed panels right there. I did those. This goes above the door there. So, and then also around the soffit, on the face of the soffit, all the way around, has those little kind of recessed panels that I built. You can see them up there. And I had to do trim and, all those little kind of fluted trim. I covered all the cracks, and these are just cool little pieces. I'd get these boards and fill them up with black epoxy and give them a clear coat, and so we could mount them. There's the doors, getting the windows in and gluing them into place, and getting ready for the glass, which my sister cut. This is the double layer thickness secret door with a 500-pound Rixson hinge on it, and so that it survives the torque of all the books being on it when it opens. You can kind of see it here. This is just kind of the blank, and there's lots of wires, and I had to kind of figure out where I wanted to put everything, but that's the door. It took me a whole week just to put that door in there, build it and put it into place. I took a week of vacation, and just the whole time it's hard to do. I made a little mock-up, but just me playing in lumber. I just kept buying batches of lumber, lots of cherry. So just kind of get it down to thickness, and when it was almost the thickness, I would do the finish at the slow speed. This is Charles Dickens in his writing desk. I like that desk, and so I wanted to build one like it, but a little bit wider, a little deeper, a little taller, and so that's what I did. This is his desk, but there's my plans. I usually don't do plans. Like my whole study, I didn't really do plans. I did plans for the wiring, but I just build stuff. I just think about it and build it, but it's kind of fun. It's just what works for me. But the top was kind of very complex. I had all these weird recessed panels because I wanted to put leather inserts in the top, so everything had to be recessed, like a 1/16 of an inch, and just all little cubby holes and all the pieces, and you can see this it just was a deal, just constantly figuring out how am I going to do this, how am I going to do this, and how am I going to do the taper, and how steep, and just normal stuff if you're building a desk, I guess. Anyways, my first, probably my last one. This right here is just the top of the desk that I'm gluing together with some dowels, and there it is on top of the desk. Yeah, there are drawer faces that I was building. Another batch of cherry. I got this for $1 a board foot. 700 board foot of cherry for $1 a board foot. It was a sweet deal. Anyways, this right here is more kind of near the trunk with stuff. So I just put black epoxy in there, and that's what I made my corner desk out of. This is the pieces being glued together for my corner desk. There's the corner desk with just one clear coat on it before I installed it. There it is installed. You can see the little fluted trim. These are little like corner pieces I wanted the bookshelves to not just look square, to kind of have a little radius look to them, so you can see it there. So I made a little jig and got everything fluted, put it into play, and it was very fun just getting all that into action. So yeah, so trim, just more trim. I have trim galore. These are kind of close up the window frames, and you can see how I'm just kind of just lots of pieces after pieces after pieces, that had to be put into play and finished. The ceiling before the rosettes, you can see the corner blocks. I cut the holes in. The wires were there, amazingly. They were still there. They didn't go anywhere for 4.5 years. Anyways, the lights, I had to make a mold for the jam. It was kind of a deal. So that's me making the mold, so I can then make the jam on top of the mold and get it so it's just right. And did pine and did 7 layers of 1/8-inch masonite around the top, and I just put plastic on everything, plastic tape, so that it wouldn't stick to everything, the glue. Anyways, I got that done, and then I took the jam, and once I got the jam done, then I covered it in 16th-inch cherry veneer, so that there it is right there, all veneered up. Looks like a solid piece of cherry, but it's pine and masonite. These pieces took me 2 weeks in the evenings to just work on. That little radius piece right there was a nightmare. Uh, there it is right there. There's the jam with the stop, kind of ready to install with the veneer on there. You can see that. It still needs puttied and sanded, but that's it, installed. These things just took months, months. Um, Trim, just more trim, just the vertical trim, little keystone, just nailing stuff into place and putting it in there and puttying it, and sanding it, and it just, just one piece after another after another. It's just kind of a deal that never ended. But I just kept working on it, and lo and behold, eventually it started coming together and got done. So you can see the ceilings kind of painted, finished, and then this right here is just trim, 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 more putty, sanding, trim, trim. There's the ceiling with the lights in it, but then I had to, do all the little pieces these are the pieces, once I put the bubble glass that my sister cut for me, I then glued it in. This is my helper, my cute helper. We had a romantic date on spray day. It was wonderful. So my wifey, and I got it all, taped off with cardboard and stuff. You can see all the fans out there. I had fans everywhere. I think I had 5 fans, and started spraying clear coat first. And then in a gallon, I'd put 15 cc's of trans tint dye into Deft brushing lacquer. I'm spraying brushing lacquer, I know, but it isn't affected as much by humidity. It doesn't give white blotchy stuff, so it's a little safer. So I use brushing lacquer, and it 5 coats, and that's what it looked like. So every coat, it gets a little darker and darker. So I just kept putting it on until it got to where I wanted it. So that's 5 coats, 1 clear coat, and 4 coats with 15 cc's per gallon of trans tint reddish brown dye. And that's, how you do it. That's how I did it. It's good because cherry, like pine and alder and other soft woods, can get splotchy when you stain it. So you just put the stain in the clear coat, and the first coat is clear, so you don't get any splotchiness. And then you just go ahead and do that. These are the corbels, and then the rosettes. They're black with gold accents. I sprayed them several times with copper spray, then high gloss black, and then they kind of repelled from the shiny copper spray and kind of give me a mottled look. I like it. I didn't want any paint, so we did little thin veneer sheets. These are coming like little boxes, and they're about a 1/4 inch thick, and you just glue them to the wall, and they're nice. You can see the wires for the strip lights in the back side of the face frames, because I wanted my books to be lit up from the back, but I didn't want to see the lights. I just wanted the effect of my books being lit. A lot of times I never turn on the ceiling lights when I'm studying. I just go in and turn on the face frame lights and sit in the dark, because I'm just reading my screen most of the time. But there it is. There's the backlit face frames. So pretty sweet. They look good. And yeah, that's it. See my medieval helmet there, my greaves, and these are things from Grace Life London. Whenever I go preach there, they give you another piece of armor, so if I keep going back, I might get the whole suit. But this is before the desk, I'm still putting stuff together. I got my books out finally. Every time I needed commentaries, I'd have to go. I had my books all numbered and catalogs. I'd open up boxes and take some out and put some in. It was a hassle. But anyways, after about 6 years, I got my library unloaded, about 82 boxes of books, and I got rid of quite a few because I got so many on Logos now that I don't really need as many paper ones. But this is the desk. It's just when I first put it in there, all the pieces, that I had to kind of get assembled, and did, Blum soft close hinges and, glides so that they, slide in, and had to get the right hinges for the top, so the top kind of stays open by itself when you lift it up. And there's the top with the leather inserts and the gold tooling around the edge. So they're just sitting there right now. They aren't glued down, but they're spurgy. Again, more electrical stuff. This is coming on like year 6. 6.5 right now. And so I'm pretty much done, but I need to build the door. And so that was a deal. I had to go down and buy some 8-quarter cherry from a place. I couldn't find any that I wanted online. I built a template for the door just to make sure that, you know, it was the right size. Started using the mold and just the thicker cherry and started datoing it. And, you know, it's kind of like a big tinker toy thing. Kind of set everything out there and then start running it on the router table and, you know, make little recessed panels and then kind of number everything. And I found a really cool skeleton key, kind of Victorian lock set. So got that mortised in, and lots of templates and jigs and, you know, OCD issues, just trying to make sure everything was exactly right. Because, you know, you're dealing with a big, thick wood and everything has to be, you know, radiused. You can see this here. It's all datoed. Everything kind of fits together like a big puzzle. So sometimes I wouldn't know. I've never done this before, so I just kind of think about it. And usually I go to bed at night thinking about it. I wake up in the morning and I have an idea, and I just do it. So, yeah. So this is just kind of everything had to be kind of stuck together. So it was all kind of glued together with tenons and stuff like that. So this is just kind of the mock-up. This is not gluing together. I just keep fiddling with it. There's all the panels put in there that are all kind of, you know, done. I decided to use extended wood glue because I knew it'd take me a long time to, you know, glue it together. I didn't know how long. I'd never done it before. Probably won't ever do it again. But anyways, there you go. I thought maybe, and it took me about an hour to get the whole thing kind of glued together, so I used a little slower setting glue. But you can see like the holes there, those cracks. So when I put it together, this is why you do a mock-up. You put it together and you realize, okay, this has to be cut, and to make sure those cracks disappear, and you're kind of fiddling with different stuff to make it, you know, just right. Anyways, so there it is. It's getting ready now. I'm getting ready to glue at this point right here, and have a glue marathon. And again, it took me about an hour. I just got all the glue and just started gluing, and this is it. You know, I have my weights on there and clamps on there, and just kind of got everything kind of put together. And there you have it. I went and just kind of dry set it into place, put some shims in the bottom, make sure, discovered where I needed to sand it. And I put the hinges on it, made a little kind of a jig for my router. You can see it there on my assembly table. And that just kind of allowed me to mortise out for the hinges just right. And there they are. So nice ball bearing hinges, 3-4 inch hinges to hold up the door. It's pretty weighty. Anyways, this is it. The hinges are installed. So when I closed it, it stuck a little bit, just a little tiny bit in one spot. So I just had to mark it with a pencil and sand it a little bit. And there it is. So there's the door. And of course, I got the lion's head on there. That's from Tom Durian from Grace Life London. Bought me that. And we call him Aslan. So he's not a tame lion, but he's a good lion. And these are just bookends that I built. I'd find these different items, you know, a bee smoker, a little cannon, a little fuse. This anchor there was from Anchor Bible Church South in Fayetteville, and they gave me that as a present for speaking there. Anyways, there's Aslan on the door, mounted, and yeah, he kind of guards the way when I come in. You can see the little 4 panes of glass in the middle there. Those are little beveled pieces of glass, and you can see the bubble glass too there that my sister cut for me. And people have given me different swords over the course of time, and so of course I take them because you can never have too many swords. Anyways, this is a little gas can. These are just things we found at antique stores. A little torch, you know, a scale, a torch. Yeah, there's a nice little bronze or cast iron elk. This right here I just got like that. I didn't have to build that one or that one. I just found those at different places. This is just kind of a plastic one, painted one, but kind of like the night theme. I made that one there. Still kind of anchor, since we're Anchor Bible Church. This is an old duck decoy. I just put it on my chop saw and chopped it off. Coffee grinder. There you go. And everybody needs a coffee grinder. This is a roadwork light. Old roadwork light. There's an old axe. I just put it in a piece of wood and epoxied it in there and put some clear coat on it and some neoprene on the bottom. That's a spring from a train right there. I just cleaned it up, clear coated it. There's an old John Deere tractor, just made an L-shaped piece. Same thing here, block and tackle from a ship. Old caster from a factory. Anyways, I just kind of clean them up, put a clear coat on them. There's Ryle and Thomas Cramner. There's Hooker. There's Spurgeon. There's Whitfield. Here's the USS Constitution. My brother found this for me and shipped it, but it was so big and pointy he had to cut off it before putting it in a box. It was a little beat up when he got up, but anyways, I got some CA glue and put it together. There's the entrance into the secret door. This is the study, this is it. This is the whole deal right there. So yeah, you can have one of these too. If God blesses you and you work really hard for 7 years off and on, you can make this happen. So I'm praising God, and that's it.